Welcome back to the CFL Report on TSN. It is a pleasure to have Commissioner Doug Mitchell joining us now, and timely too, as we read of a new Angus Reid poll that is going to survey fans in Canada about some of the problems in the Canadian Football League. Let's begin with what you hope to find out from this poll.
Well, first of all, John, let me just clarify. It's not some of the problems in the league. I think what we're doing is going back and asking them about some of the rules that we have and some of the things that our strategic planning committee have been talking about in the last few months.
Do you think that the league actually needs a major overhaul as far as rules are concerned?
I personally don't, but I think that we did it in 1984, got the results in 1985, asked questions about 3 or 4 downs, single point on a missed field goal, roster content, total of roster. I think it's good to, after all, we're in the sales business, so let's go out and find out what our consumers want.
Doug, it appears as though 2 or 3 people will probably share the commissioner's job this year. Personally, I feel it should be one high-profile guy, if you can find him. How do you feel about that?
I disagree with that as well. I think that it's a professional business. It's a $50 or $60 million a year business. To function with one chief executive officer is far below the human resource level that you need to function in a league.
Is it difficult to find this one person to take one job and another person to have the other job? Is that what the delay has been, just finding people who want the job?
No, I don't think so. At one time, I think there were a list of 28 people, all of whom were well qualified for the job. I think part of the problem is the perception around the Board of Governors, and perhaps I made a mistake in that I gave a 1.5 years notice. So no one thought that there was any urgent concern to make a change and get somebody in a hurry. I felt personally that it would have helped to have somebody in July 1st to go through part of the season, but I think when people knew that my contract didn't expire till the end of May, there was no particular rush to have somebody come in. We still had the 1989 season a 1.5 years off.
Is that one of the toughest things about your job, is to try and please 8 different governors?
Well, yeah, I think you can't do it on the basis that you try to please them. Do you know what I mean? You have to have a plan and stick to it, and if everybody said that when I left the job they loved me, I'd really be worried, because that would mean that you were doing what they wanted you to do, and I don't think it's a job that you really take orders on. You have to set a plan and get on with it, basically, and I think that's what we did on our television. Even there were some skeptics on our Board of Governors who didn't agree with what we did. Now I think everybody in the league lays claim to the idea.
What about the successes of Canadian football in 1988 as you see this season?
I think there's a couple of major ones, John. One of them is that we're now back to financial reality. We're no longer perceived as poor business managers. I think that everybody looks at the league now because of our operating cap and says that we're financially viable. We lost probably $15 million as a league in '87. We'll probably cut that in half in '88. 1989, I don't see any reason at all why we shouldn't break even as a league. And 6 of our teams, at least in the '89 season, should break even. So financially, we've done a major, major turnaround.
Of the teams that are operating right now, which ones are you really concerned about?
Well, I'm not so sure that I'm really concerned about any of them. I think that the Ottawa Rough Riders, if you look at it, they lost $2.4 million last year, and they'll probably lose $500,000 this year. They made a $2 million turnaround. We're not out of the woods yet. I wouldn't want to suggest to anybody that we're out of the woods yet, but you asked me a moment ago, Leif, what's the toughest part of the job? And I would say that the toughest part of the job that I have is that you're dealing with 6 community-owned teams. You're dealing with CEOs of a small business who are all volunteers. And in the 4.5 years that I've been in the league, the 8 teams have been represented by 28 different governors, and the 8 general managers have been represented by 18 different general managers. And so if you add those numbers together, you get you're dealing with 44 different people for 16 jobs over a period of 4.5 years. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do in the league and in the teams is stabilize our people.
If you knew when you took the job what you know now, would you have still taken it?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. I knew when I came into the league that we had 7 out of 9 teams were losing money. I knew that we had a big television contract, but I thought I knew at that time what the prospects were. I knew that I was coming into a situation which wasn't a rosy picture, but I guess that the one thing that I look back on is probably the fact that when we did have a big television contract, because of the USFL, every one of the community-owned teams was spending the reserve fund. So when the big TV days ended, not only did that revenue go out, but no clubs had a reserve fund, and that was the toughest part.
Doug, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you at the Grey Cup.
Pleasure to be here.
Commissioner Doug Mitchell joining us on the CFL Report this week. We'll be back in just a moment.